SAP customer base is under pressure to modernize like everybody else, with deadlines to reduce migration costs, minimize disruption, preserving those industry customizations, which are a big deal. So the vision is AI assisted ERP migration that could help with some of these major service trends like automated code analysis, process mapping, data transformation, which is a big deal, and documentation generation. So
growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our #1 priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Well, here we are. We have a couple days before the holiday. It's Analysts Gone Wild, episode 61. Robert Kramer with Kramer ERP here with some amazing gentlemen. We're here to talk about some what's new, what's needs improvement, and what's our vision for the rest of the year. So let's shift off to introduce the team here. Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself. How are we doing? Any big plans for the weekend?
Well, hey there. Ken Gunn here, otherwise known as Ken Gonzalez, lead advisor and founder of Pretty Simple Group. Big plans for the weekend? No, not really. As a matter of fact, I kind of forgot it was going to be a holiday weekend. So I'm actually just planning on firing up the grill and, making some magic happen there.
Okay, what's the magic consist of?
Well, It might be some steaks, might be burgers, it could be chicken, anything.
Okay, sounds good. Thomas, what's cooking with you? You were kind of in a little bit of an interesting mood in the behind stage. Now, how are we doing right now?
Oh, we are doing fine. Thomas Wiebernight, I had CRM. I don't have that much of an exciting barbecue story as Ken has. What I'll do is something very mundane. Tomorrow at noon, I'll jump on a plane and visit a customer in Europe.
Oh, good. Good for you. Which city are you going to?
The big German city of Andernach.
Okay.
Which I'm quite sure that everybody of you knows very intimately.
Yeah, I do. I don't, but I've been to Germany a lot, so it's
just
a really nice
south
place.
South of Bonn.
Okay, gotcha. And
which should be known as the former city that has the capital, or had the government, not the capital. The capital always was Berlin. But
okay, well then we're off to Sam. So what's going on in Toronto? How we looking?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the Blue Jays, you know the story. You know the story, but they are coming back. They are coming back. Hopefully, I mean, at least for the last 2 games, or maybe a couple of games. There is a strong possibility that something might work in our favor, which has not this year because of all the injuries that we have. But I think Blue Jays is one of the best management team out there. They can figure out these things in any situations. Never biased, right? Just biased to Blue Jays.
Go Habs, go.
Well, everybody's biased. I mean, that's how the world works. That's we follow the teams that we like. We're passionate about it. Same with the vendors that we like. We've talked about this in the past, everyone, that things are about consumer behavior at the same time. It's not just about facts. So your consumer behavior weighs into your comment about the Blue Jays. To Thomas is about CRM, to Ken talks about barbecuing steaks, and chicken and stuff like that. So I talk about ERP and change management a lot, blah, blah, blah. So let's jump into our first story. People.ai
becomes backstory.
Yeah. So people.
What's the story?
People.ai is so the repositioning itself around AI-driven revenue intelligence. I mean, AI. God, we talk about this so much. I think we somehow the consumer, the vendors, the customers need to understand that what AI show us what it is and how it can help versus telling us it's the whole grounds of a business. But the backstory branding is meant to emphasize the contextual deal intelligence, which I think contextual is a important factor. And maybe everybody has to comment on that. And AI generated explanations around pipeline health and revenue execution. Again, your data will be a big element here in the quality of it. So this does matter because there is a shift happening in RevOps and go-to-market software, moving from dashboards and CRM hygiene towards more of a conversational AI. Now, I'm not deep into CRM where I feel like it makes or breaks a business, but does the contextual part, everyone, does that help me? Or like, what do I need? What are the prerequisites that are needed to make it better? And then let's weigh into this story a little bit and how it helps the customer's vision and what's the risk and how does this help my pipeline? And I think the big part of CRM is the forecasting accuracy. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
That a big part, and this is probably where I like this rebranding. I mean, other companies have rebranded too, just recently Sugar CRM to Sugar AI. I like this rebranding a lot more because this is about outcomes, not of the tool used.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, what they are doing is basically they are moving away from dashboards to giving advice, actionable advice, not only.
But how does that work though? If I don't have, how far down does my data have to be for that to be intelligence, to be actually intelligence?
That depends on your business. So let's assume that they have enough of the data. Yeah. So their business model is based upon having access to enough of the data. So
can I ask you just a stupid question? Why can't you just give me a playbook to what I need to do to get it to work?
needs to be written, I guess.
Well, how could you show me the outcome but not give me a playbook? And so I'm sitting here without a playbook and I'm like, fine.
Yeah, because the playbook is based upon your data. So the playbook is different unlike a press printed book, it's a custom made book.
Well, use AI to make the playbook and I plug in where I'm at to help me, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, use AI. Well, there you have your playbook. It's a black box. Nice. Works every time. It sells very well, I guess.
This is not about the vendor winning. It's about the customer taking what the vendor has and doing something with it. And whatever aids I can give the customer, just my opinion. But Chengo, what do you think?
So here, let me say this. So I like the backstory name. I actually think that's actually pretty smart because it starts to establish, hey, like what's the backstory here? So I think that from a marketing and messaging standpoint, this one's right on the mark. Now, when I look at some of the things about the years behind looking at patterns and establishing trends, and so I think that where we start getting into a little trouble is if we just rely on providing the context to the AI, because I think that where we're starting to look now is how do we actually provide context from an organizational perspective, use that as the feeder into AI, where we're using what our current state is, as well as some of our historical data to start to actually craft that backstory and being able to understand where we are today, not just how we got here, but what our current situation is. And then in future quarters or future months or future years, whatever time period you want to look at, we can now start to ingest that data and start getting better answers without having to do a bunch of RAG-oriented BS. But it's part of the evolution of the view. Not about dashboards, but it's about an active learner's perspective and being able to go from where we are today to where we want to be, and seeing that if we did take actions based upon what we discovered from this process, we can now start to tweak and tune those and see how effective those actions were, which is also a source of data that is going to be untapped because, well, we haven't done it yet. So I think that the real magic here is about being able to turn this into more of an operational perspective rather than just a data analysis and, that kind of historical backward looking view.
It's the transition from making it visible to giving advice. And the category of software exists for quite some while. So the playbooks, plural, are there.
Yeah, so guys, some very interesting points, and I agree with Ken. On the name, Backstory does have the same ring as WBS Rocks or Gupta ERP, or Elevate IQ. So it's a cool brand. There is no question there.
Kramer ERP.
Kramer ERP as well. Obviously, Kramer ERP is probably better than Gupta ERP, I guess. But the challenge that I am struggling with the story is, okay, so you are moving from People.ai to Backstory, which is a very interesting move. Okay, so if you analyze this a little bit, everybody is trying to shove that AI word somewhere. Okay, and these guys are trying to move away from AI word. Yeah. So I don't know if this is called Backstory.ai. That could have been a very smart move because you need that AI somewhere. So that's not Backstory. Backstory. I cannot say Backstory today, I guess. Backstory.ai. So that's not what they are doing. Now, you analyze some more. Okay, so you are looking at People.ai. People, instantly you would think that, okay, is it some sort of people play, ACM? What's going on here? Okay, they are obviously not an ACM play. They are in sales technology play, and sales. They are not talking about salespeople. So what is this? So this is probably a good move that you are going from something extremely vague to something slightly more meaningful. Okay, but now let's look at Backstory. Now, through Backstory, can you tell this is something related to sales context, sales backstory? Probably not. Okay, so that's where my loss is. Overall in terms of rebranding, I am more about alignment. By looking at brand or names, I should be able to figure out what they do. In this case, it's great, but it's not as meaningful as what I personally like to see with rebranding.
Okay. The name is better than before, and if it makes you happy, their top level domain stays .ai.
Exactly. Do you want to move to the next one, Robert? I don't think we have much in this story, I guess. Yeah.
Sage.
One other point on this, Sam. So I take your point, and if I were looking at this as the potential for being able to expand into different adjacencies, I think that actually could be a very smart move for them. So while their competence is in a specific domain today, being able to use this now to pivot into other areas, I think that could be a really brilliant marketing move.
You are right. But depending upon which category they are attacking and, where they want to live, I guess, I mean, that's where my personal preference would be. Yeah. But you're right.
Yep. Talk about Sage. This is kind of an interesting story, and I like it, but I don't like how they did it. I think they're talking about expanding their services to really help advise their customers a little bit more, and to help the finance teams move from reporting towards decision support and strategic guidance. And I think that that's not a bad play, because I think companies need it, but I think it should be driven from an outcome perspective and then work your way backwards. It's kind of it doesn't really tell me, it talks more about goals than outcomes. And I think they should be talking about like examples and how they're going to do it and why they're doing it and why they are doing these changes. Because I don't think it's very on point exactly what the customer is going to get out of it. The customer, as I go to these ERP shows, events, they're very confused. They don't understand how they get to the finish line. That's why I mentioned the playbook, because I think customers are all different innovation aptitudes. They need help and guidance to get to where they need to be. So if you could do advisory to help that, show me the end result and what that outcome is, not a goal, but an outcome, and show me the different types of end results. But what do you guys think?
Yeah. So here, Sage Intacct obviously is an ERP system, and they are talking about AI-powered capabilities in Sage Intacct Advisory. Now, when I read advisory, and I'm not entirely sure what that means for the accounting firms. And I think they have a comment here with respect to accounting firms as well, that they can scale repeatable advisory services. If you ask any decent consulting firm, they will tell you that any of these templates are probably not as meaningful because generally advisory requires a lot more custom engagements, especially OEM provided templates are great. I mean, they are not allowed to say anything because obviously they are your reseller. But generally, when you go to a real engagement, I think you need to have a little bit more intelligence than just a bunch of templates, so that customers can get. And this is your favorite topic, Robert. You like to talk about, so that they can hear what they want to hear, from their context where they stand, as opposed to vendors' language, which obviously could feel very foreign. Especially if they don't live in ERP world, CRM world. It doesn't matter which world you are from, but you have to speak your customer's language. And these templates are designed from consulting companies. Sage is great, but again, I mean, you are Sage, you are not, the customer. And every customer speaks a different language. So that would be my take on this story. Over to you guys.
I actually just to piggyback that before the two other gentlemen talk, it has to be in their language. If it doesn't, then it's too foreign. It scares them even more. There's always the leaders who it works for, but the followers and the ones that are, the laggers are going to be really challenged by things that aren't in their terms, because I think it's not at the level that is needed to make decisions that are needed. But Ken and Thomas, what do you guys think?
Do you start this time, Ken, or shall I rant? No, actually, I don't have a rant. So. Or if I had one, it's been contradicting Sam, which turns out to be my favorite today.
Let's do it. That's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah, that's what the fun is about. So, looking at the bigger picture, with the advent of these funny AI systems that all of us work with right now, the billable hour for the advisors and consultants becomes a dying model. So this means they need to get in, either deliver the same service faster and or at a, outcome-related price. And this is where Sage helps these advisors, potentially. So the industry-specific templates very likely speak to some extent, but not perfectly, I agree, the language of the clients. So now putting all this together, and
I don't know if I agree with you. I mean, industry specific.
You may disagree in a minute.
Well, industry specific, it's thrown around like it's new.
No, it's not newer, but industry specific is what you need to be able to. I don't know the templates. Yeah. So if I see the statement, and I'm just going on from the statements that are in there, the good thing about this release is, in my eyes, it's less buzzword laden. So there is a bit of value speak in there, and industry specific templates is one of them that says reduce effort. For me as a consultant, the input effort is smaller. So this to me is a helper.
Okay.
And if you say this is not earth-shaking, the whole thing, we are in agreement.
But Thomas, it's also a threat, because as a consultant, my job is to make money. Okay. And you make money by creating your own IP, right? Rather than utilizing OEM's IP. OEM is already selling the product. So so that's what I mean. From the consulting perspective, they are supposed to create their own IP. Now, if the OEM's IP is as good as what consultants provide, which is very rarely the case.
And that's where the word template comes into picture. So it's easier for me to create the IP, and it's faster for me to create the IP, and I can deliver faster, arguing with value instead of hours. Then this is a case for me as a consultant.
Only if it works. Generally, again, the templated approach.
Is there a guarantee that it works?
Yeah. Well, I know we got a bunch of questions sitting on the side.
Let's attack those.
There is someone asking questions. It's unheard of.
They're asking, why is Thomas so tough?
Because he can't smile. He can't smile.
Okay, so somebody's dialing from
he needs to
France. Thank you so much.
Hi, Simone.
Hey, Simone.
Hey.
Okay.
It's a barbecue suggestion for Ken.
Yeah.
What
is
do you
that?
want? Medium rare, or how you take it?
Give me some backstory here.
Toronto.
Oh, I think this is for Toronto, I guess, right? Yeah, this is for Toronto. Okay, I missed it. Yeah,
big time typo.
Yeah. Is there really a thing as vendor agnostic? I mean, technically there should be. If there is not, then I don't know how to trust in this world, I guess.
In theory, there is, but who of us is really agnostic?
Yeah.
I mean, you are selling Gupta ERP. You're not agnostic.
Gupta ERP is definitely not agnostic. That is right. And Gupta ERP is not necessarily affiliated with Sam Gupta. I think people misunderstand that. Yeah. Gupta ERP maintains its own excellence. It does not need any other help from any average people like Sam Gupta.
Oh, I like this joke.
Visibility, the CRM lies faster than ever. Yep.
Deal visibility, not the faster.
It lies on steroids now.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have? We have an Aussie version from My Moose, and Y language we supply as cognitive nutrition to our AI.
She's on a roll.
Yeah, I know. So many comments. The good news is AI can analyze sales calls in real time. The bad news is it's learned the phrase just circling back 4,000 times a day. Yeah. We all have a backstory that keeps getting reinvented as we age and our minds play tricks. AI does that as well. That's right.
We taught it to.
Okay. What else do we have here? I think their phrase, not just another dashboard, is interesting. Yeah, you are right. Let's keep going fast, I guess. Then we can come back to the stories. How is it going to ensure that it surfaces the signals from the noise? I don't know. Do you guys want to address this question? I don't know if you guys have background on them. My understanding of, and I think she's talking about backstory, right? And if she's talking about backstory, my understanding of backstory's capability is that they are probably like Gong. Would you agree with that, Thomas, right?
Gong is one of their main competitors.
Yeah. But I don't think Gong proposes themselves as more of the data player. I mean, they are far more than just the data player. They do a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they want to give answers. Gong is all about giving you the insight and the answers to your questions that help you close the deal. That's what Gong is about.
It's more than that. It's also the control. So Gong does automate a lot of workflows that were not traditionally either possible through CRM workflows, or they were terribly difficult to do that. So now, no, it's talk. It's talk. Okay. No, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people do that. I don't appreciate those emails, but I can see some value there. I mean, I have seen a lot of businesses utilizing that. Just the reminder for a specific meeting could be a big deal so that you don't waste time. That itself is a big deal in my mind. But Thomas clearly does not like that.
I love the next comment, by the way.
Okay.
Hi, Vibe.
Okay, so commercial manager.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for being. Okay, let's keep moving. I was both front-end and managed high-end serviced office sales that had an amazing core content. We all had to learn off by heart. But like a theater play, we all bang our own personality and nuance to the relationships in the human context. How is AI going to enhance that? Do you guys have any answers?
It's taking the chores away.
Okay. Some more comments here, unless you guys have any other comments.
So you have more time for doing exactly that.
Okay. If you guys don't have any other comments, let's okay. Welcome If you're joining for the first time, thank you so much for joining. Okay, we have Christopher. Is there a guarantee that consultant's approach works, given that shadow systems and workarounds still exist after the consultant leaves? The evidence points to no. I would say this is a buzzword. This consultant, the term that you're referencing, I mean, there are millions of consultants. If a consultant is going to be somebody like Thomas, Robert, Ken, they probably know what they are doing, but not everybody does.
Nice.
Notice that Sam added probably here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, he's a consultant too, so he needs a backdoor.
Yeah. Okay. So here he's talking about, happy to share that we are seeing in the automotive vertical, specifically Chinese OEMs entering Europe, greenfield CRM builds, and where the implementation risk actually sits. Relevant if you are covering enterprise CRM trends. We do cover enterprise CRM trends, but we also cover other market segments. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any other comments on this. It's a very interesting comment.
Just contact me after Viber, and then we can talk a little. Because right now I'm at a loss what you actually want to tell me or ask.
Thomas is your man. You should be contacting him. Okay. So Simon is saying, sorry, Kangon was on a roll. Must be the rules. Okay. So here we have one more comment. Okay, so it's a pitch. So they are Salesforce partners. So contact them if you want. I don't see any other questions or comments here, so I'm gonna skip this comment. But thank you so much for joining. Do you want to move to the next story, Thomas?
Yeah, let's talk about Sage HCM. Okay. So I'm not sure this is too much of a big marketing, or it's par for the course for Sage from their strategic, standpoint. We've talked a lot about how many of the ERP platforms are going to more of a full platform, to be a platform in an ecosystem. What does the customer want? I think they want less software products, more of a platform and ecosystem that all works together. So this plays into that dynamic, and it's more of a unified ability platform, workforce, financial data, labor. Nothing's disconnected. It's connected to the ERP system. It's a great vision. It's if it works. It's a competitive area, with Workday and Dayforce and UKG. But at the same time, it benefits the customer, reduces their complexity. I personally think if you're invested pretty highly with Sage, it's a big win. And I'm not sure what you guys all think, but the platforms are direction from a turnkey perspective that adds a lot of value for these companies, the customers, not the vendors, but the customers, because they can focus on their business and not have a lot of different products. Although there's great products that all integrate. What do you guys all think?
I mean, the suite is back. So we always have this pendulum between best of breed and suite, and then back to best of breed.
Wait, you said you disagree?
No, that was a yeah.
He's saying best of breed. That probably sounds like.
So what? I mean,
best of breed's going away though.
What I'd say right now, I would agree to that one. What I'd say towards Sage, great that you discovered HCM. Maybe
10 years late.
Hopefully for you, it works better than your CRM endeavors.
What's more important, HCM or CRM?
Both.
No, it's a question. It's not both. It's a one or the other.
No.
Which one's more important?
It's not.
Both.
No.
Both.
Which one's more important, Ken?
I'm with the consensus here. I don't think one is more important than the other. It really depends on where you're sitting, how important it is to you.
So let me ask you, Robert, now you're running your company, okay? Which department is more important for you, HR or sales and marketing?
He doesn't have employees.
So I do have an answer for that. I think that HCM is more important for an enterprise because I think the salespeople most of them are rogue and not using CRM for its intentions. I need the data from HCM. I need the HCM data as more of an operational component more than I need CRM.
That's definitely ERP side of the story. That's what ERP vendors will tell you. And obviously, you are an ERP guy.
You asked my opinion. You asked my opinion. And that was my opinion. Nothing to do with anything else.
So
like
here in this story, let's go back to the context a little bit in the story. Okay, so number one, Sage acquired a company called Criterion. Okay, that is the HCM, and this is more of the integration story for Sage Intacct. They are obviously rebranding this as more of the Sage HCM for construction. If you go to any of the ERP implementations, Robert, you are right that this is very critical. Especially for construction, because you are going to have union labor workflows. And if you are going to take platform approach, you mentioned platform approach. Okay, you can take platform approach, but nobody knows how to develop these workflows on top of these platforms, which means it doesn't work. Implementation failure, a lot of chaos among customers. Okay, so that's why platform approach does not work. And that's why what Sage is doing is meaningful, because traditionally they had these workflows, and a lot of ERP systems designed for constructions had these workflows as well, because construction is a very different industry. In that industry, the payroll workflow, your ACM workflow, that is very tightly intertwined with the ERP workflow. That's why this makes sense for construction. Now, you spoke about Workday, UKG. Which other name did you have there? I think you had one more, right? So some of them are more of the enterprise players. Sage Intacct, they might call themselves as enterprise, but I mean, they are mid-market. Okay, and the ACM that they have acquired is mid-market, solution as well. So there is a little bit alignment. Now, Workday is trying to do similar things as well. They have, finance, they have ACM, so they can technically do this business or compete with Sage Intacct in the construction market. But Sage Intacct is probably going to have much more aligned ecosystem, far more functionality from the construction perspective than your, Workday. So that's where I see a lot of value in this particular story. It's not just a marketing story. It's a lot more than that. There's a real value in the story. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to Thomas's both. So if they're both important, what do we think of the story then, Thomas?
Well, it's an acknowledgement that the suite is back. That's why they acquired the company. And for me, the backdraft is always what I have seen with their CRM solution, which is sort of a non-entity. So may they be more successful with this endeavor? So for Sage customers, this can be good.
It's a value they're offering.
It's a valuable add-on offer. So although those Sage companies, the customers probably have an HCM solution, which then needs to get replaced. So this is a go-to-market motion that may or may not succeed. So what my advice to Sage would be more serious than with your CRM endeavors.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of late in the game to be launching something like this.
What is not late in the game in terms of
like you said, customers already have HCM under control. So
no, I've said they have an HCM system. I didn't say they have it under control.
So, Robert, if you look at this more from the deal perspective, customers were not comfortable buying Sage Intacct because they did not have this. So it's fairly critical. The reason why they have not moved on from Sage 300, which is supposed to be the replacement system for this, they would rather stay on that. So Sage had to do this. And a lot of vendors don't have this. Sage cannot compete with other vendors who are going to have this capability as part of their box, even though they might be inferior, I guess, more from the technology or platform perspective. So there's a lot of value in this, from the customer's perspective, also from deal perspective for vendors.
Ken, anything you want to add?
I just think it's notable that they are talking about launching this in a vertical. And I think it's, representative of what we're seeing across broader industry, which is, yes, we're going to take and bring products together, and we're going to focus on verticals because we believe that we can actually add value and solidify customer bases there. So if this is representative of who they've got as part of their portfolio of customers, then definitely a smart move.
Do you want to move to the next one, Robert?
Yeah, let's go talk about Syntax GenAI SAP migration offering. So Syntax introduced a GenAI assisted migration offering targeted at SAP apparel and footwear customers transitioning from legacy AFS environments. So why does this matter? SAP customer base is under pressure to modernize like everybody else, with deadlines to reduce migration costs, minimize disruption, preserving those industry customizations, which are a big deal. So the vision is AI-assisted ERP migration that could help with some of these major service trends like automated code analysis, process mapping, data transformation, which is a big deal, and documentation generation. So this addresses a real migration pain point. The vertical specialization, I think, helps with and hopefully you guys do too, the credibility of the AI can help accelerate basically mostly only the repetitive tasks. But these migrations are complex. The AI can't fully replace the human consultants, and the legacy customizations are a problem. So does this help, hurt? Is this a real thing? Is it marketing, or maybe all of the above?
So in this particular case, and I'll provide some background here, guys. So I don't know how much you guys are familiar with the apparel industry, but in this particular industry, there are substantial problems, at least from the ERP perspective. 90% of the vanilla ERPs that you have in the market, they would not work for apparel. So you require very, very, very unique, capability there. Even some of the SNOP system, WMS systems that you have. Sometimes you have seen even POS and CRMs too, which are fairly unique, because the kind of inventory planning that you are going to have is going to be very, very, very different. Okay. So here they are talking about moving from AFS, which was a fairly reliable solution from SAP perspective. Now customers are mad because they don't have all of those capabilities in the SAP S/4HANA Core, because SAP S/4HANA Core is fairly vanilla. So how are you going to get all of those capabilities that you needed during your on-prem days? And now the argument comes of best of breed. So SAP S/4HANA is a best of breed architecture, even though it is sold as ERP. But best of breed architecture has a lot of limitations. So now what these guys are trying to do from Syntax perspective, they have a lot of vertical, IP that they have created on top of SAP S/4HANA. I think we have seen for maybe construction. I don't remember. We saw one more story. So here we are talking about apparel. So this is going to be very interesting, because obviously now we are talking about GenAI migration. So hopefully this is going to be faster, because that's the pain point for SAP as well as for their customers right now. So it's not just marketing, Robert. It's a very, very, very thick story and far more value, at least in my mind.
And I didn't say it's marketing. I asked if you guys thought it was marketing or real.
No, it is real, because also, as Sam said, the migration is big. That's a big thing, migrating that. So, and every help getting that done more efficient, equal, cheap, is a good thing for these companies running those systems.
Yeah, this is a valuable.
The risk for Syntax is that SAP will reduce the pressure. Already does, with regards to the timing. So you've probably heard that they already moved away from this rigidity or AI will rise and AI for cloud only. So the on-premise world is getting back. So in the next step, what we'll get back is the deadline for the migration to S4. Simply because there are not enough consultants doing it, not enough businesses seeing the value in it, which will be decreasing if you add all this, I call it new stuff, into the old stack, which is the on-prem stack, which hopefully sooner or later will be the same software stack as the cloud stack, if SAP is smart. That is a risk for Syntax, that the IP that they developed here pays off soon, because that slows down the migrations. The number will be probably the same, so for them the payback is probably the same, but it might take longer than they expect now.
So Thomas, are you saying that the actual migration will take longer, or I'm not quite clear where
the actual migration, the individual migration is what Syntax is tackling. So make it shorter, make it faster, make it easier. the number of migrations that will happen in the next few years will go down if what I expect happens. And what I expect is that SAP shifts that deadline of support.
Got it. Okay.
So, and if that is wrong, well, I may be wrong, but well, I prefer to be right.
Gee, I'm shocked.
Yeah, something new, right?
All right.
So my take on this is I like the direction that they're moving in. So when you look at and I think you could just apply the thinking around this to any organization that has large scale code bases, huge applications that they might need to address. Because migration from whatever your current state is to a desired future state is always going to be a bit of a pain. So I think that to the extent that they're able to use some of this experience to understand, look at large code bases and start developing more of a paired development paradigm where the people who are actually engaged in doing the migration are paired up with an AI entity that can provide better understands how to take some of the I guess you might call it the grunt work of taking and doing their job. So that provides a source of leverage. I think that beyond this, especially as the number of migrations start to decrease, they can start to shift their attention from just doing migration activity now to looking at how do we improve, how do we anticipate what's going to be needed next, and then start using their AI foundation as a mechanism for being able to look into that. So it's not just a cost management thing. It's not just a delivery cycle reduction thing, but it's really more of a proactive posture I think is available.
Okay, Robert, do you want to move to the next story, or
yeah, let's talk about the next one.
Next
Unless anybody's got any more comments, but we can go. Let's talk about Braze delivers powerful new agentic AI capabilities. These are designed to improve the personalization and the customer engagement workflows, which is great. So marketing platforms are evolving, which we all know. Campaign orchestration, autonomous engagement systems. This is part of the broader, AI agents for CX trend that we're seeing. And this vision, I think is on board with that. So it optimizes campaigns, personalizes the experiences, and reduces the manual parts of the segmentation and the orchestration. So it fits pretty well into these platforms, and it personalizes and gives you the value from that perspective. And it's a strong alignment with what the architecture of the existing company. The challenge that we're going to have is the agentic AI is becoming overused in marketing language. It's like out of control, as we all know. The governance is a problem that's not. It's a concern that it has to be part of that branding, and customers might not understand what kind of governance they're getting. And autonomous customer engagement still requires a strategic component. We talk a lot about the humans and the robots collaborating, and then the humans have to be trained to be strategic. I don't see any of that happening. I see more just talking about the humans in the loop, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, where I think it has to be together, part of that change management philosophy. So I think this is a positive step forward in the natural evolution. And I think that the customers can have better, faster campaign optimization, improve the personalization, and reduce the marketing operations that may be overworked, because I think there's a major trend to reduce marketing staff. So things like this could be implemented. What do we all think?
Yeah. So, guys, this is a very interesting story. I'm not sure. Some people might question the value in this particular story. And you're right, Robert. Overall, from the content generation perspective, AI is being used, and I don't know how that is going to go, whether that is going to be appreciated or not. But if you really think about it, AI generated content sometimes can be better than some of the press releases that we are reading. Right?
Means they have the better AI or what?
Well, so the AI, it does generate better content sometimes, depending upon how deep the content is and how deep the subject matter expertise is of the person who is writing the marketing content. Generally, marketers, they just don't have that, unfortunately, just because they are probably not, they are not in the field. They might not be as actively talking to the customers. That could be a possibility, or they could be just too templated because of the corporate, bureaucracy, I guess. Sometimes that is a factor. But here, this is not too bad. I would say there is a risk. Yes, you are right. There could be governance risk. Obviously, you have a lot of AI-powered content, but you cannot ignore the value of AI. You have to implement that as part of your workflow. So what Braze is doing is phenomenal.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't like it?
No, it's not phenomenal. It's necessary.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with you.
Not phenomenal. That is, I mean, what the bad. Let me start with a negative take.
Yeah.
So they are probably on par now with the competition.
Yeah,
which does that right. for quite some time.
Yeah.
Now, the positive take could be very likely they've learned the one or the other lesson from what the other ones have done, and put their solution a notch higher. So maybe they're a bit better than this. But what is basically is the usual struggle of keeping up with what's going on.
Could not agree more.
What's going on in general. So there might be a good release, but the non-differentiators, well, everybody says the same and probably has the same, minus some details, stronger yes, weaker there. So the proof comes with the pudding brings the proof, right? So you need to see what Braze can do in detail that an Adobe, a Salesforce, Iterable, name them, one of the 10,000 other ones cannot do. Or which Braze does better. I don't know, but this is where the real beef is. When this is not in the press release.
Yep.
More comments on?
Ken, what do you think?
So if I were to say that, well, marketing campaigns are all the same. They're run the same way throughout every organization. People would laugh you out of the room because they're not.
Yeah.
And the problem that I would have here is that when thinking about it from an agentic perspective, that you actually use agents to do this is not necessarily the point of friction that I would have or the issue that I would have, but it's where it actually meets the customer organization. And is there a proper fit between the two? And how are they going to address that? So if I'm a marketing leader or a CMO, I'm going to be looking very carefully about how that story is being told. And is there some sort of wrapper that needs to go around the top in order to better actually ensure that it's going to meet my needs, where it meets my organization? And that's the part, if I have any reservations, that's where it lives.
That's what I meant with the strengths and the weaknesses, the relative ones.
Yeah.
You put it better.
Well, I mean, what's the goal of marketing is to market the product. But most of the problems I'm having is you have to differentiate. You have to, when you walk in a room, it should be what you are not expecting. If it's what you expect, marketing did not do a good job. Things need to be different. Customers do like change. They want the product to be different than what the way they're using it now, or different than what if it's the competition. I think marketing doesn't do a good job of taking a risk. And if AI can help you do that, fine. It's the strategy of the human that decides what they do. So AI is a tool to help them do that, in my opinion. So, but everybody has their own opinion about marketing, but it has to be unique. And if AI is a tool to help you get the information quicker. Yeah. I think it's like an escalator. It gets you to the second floor.
Yeah, and there we are where I said before, they are not the only one who have and offer that tool. That's the point. And then we are coming to Ken's point. Ken, which of those tools or toolboxes, toolkits, can I adapt better to my needs?
And that's all it is. It's exactly what you guys are saying. It's a part of your toolbox to help you. You still have to be strategic and guided. It's not gonna. It's and the human will take the fall at the end of the day, not the AI.
That's why I say it's far from earth shattering. So everybody and their dog is telling this story.
Yeah.
Sorry, Braze, but
move to the next one.
Robert, let's do one more. So Emfluence and Avid integration. So they announced the marketing platforms. They see it. This is all your guys' cup of tea, except probably Sam and I. But the companies announced a CRM connected integration between the marketing automation and the CRM. So is this a big deal? This is not a big flashy AI announcement, but it's the integration that matters, because the disconnected customer system, the data synchronization, the mid-market firms that struggle with this kind of aligns these platforms together. You guys know more about this than I do. So do we think this is positive, and what does it do for the customer?
It's very niche, very, very niche.
Yeah, I can provide some context here, guys. So here we are talking about not-for-profit, and I don't know if you guys have done any sort of business here in not-for-profit. Obviously, Thomas, you're right. It's very niche. It's all very verticalized.
Within that niche, even within that niche.
I know it's very deep, and I mean ERP space in general, even inside the CRM space, it could appear as if this is more ERP-like. It has nothing to do with ERP. This is CRM. But it's very micro verticalized. Okay. So here we are talking about not-for-profit, and they have a real problem. And we are talking about Microsoft Dynamics. Most likely, this is some sort of, ISV. They have developed a not-for-profit platform. This is marketing automation. So I think Emfluence is the marketing automation platform, and Avid is the donor platform. Generally, you are going to find a lot of different CRM systems. They are going to be slightly more consolidated in their capabilities. These two are acting as more best of breed, depending upon how you define that. But generally, when you are in this particular space, you are going to require the marketing data that has to talk to your donor data. Donor data has to talk to sometimes your ERP as well, because you have your grant constraints. And then they are talking about HIPAA compliant. Unless they are operating in the healthcare space, they are probably not going to need that. But this is not just marketing. This is the real deal. There is a real problem, and they are able to do that. This is something which is missing with a lot of other CRM platforms, unless you target not-for-profit space. Yeah.
And they are not-for-profit. That makes it niche. And then they are targeting Microsoft within, or Microsoft charities within that niche, which is another minority. If I'm not totally off, Blackboard is far, far, far more common in that area, and Salesforce does a lot of not-for-profit as well with their 111 initiative. So they are offering there a good deal as well. So I draw my head what they are doing there.
Yeah.
It's good what they are doing there, but it's really, really specific. So this is a very specific use case.
Yeah, so in my experience, I don't know how many installations you have seen from Salesforce CRM, to be completely honest. Salesforce and is a very enterprise platform. It becomes very complicated for mid-market, in my personal experience. It does not have the same capabilities that these guys are going to have, at least from the vertical depth perspective. The not-for-profit edition is very lean. The marketing automation workflows, if you are going to utilize Pardot, good luck with that. It's going to be very complicated. It's not designed for smaller.
With a non-for-profit, they made the mistake of using Salesforce.
But I mean, they are going to spend a lot, and they are going to learn the hard way. For those not-for-profit, I think something like this is probably going to be far more relevant.
So this. No, as I said, I'm drawing my head here, which I'm not doing that often.
Anything you want to add, Ken?
Well, the only thing I'll say is that when I saw this, and the two things that stood out for me, that was like HIPAA compliance and Dynamics. It's like, okay, we know who we're talking about. They're very focused, and we're not talking something that's a huge market initiative that's cross-cutting. No.
All right. Well, Let's like kind of wrap up a little bit here instead of going to another story. Talk a little bit about, we've been 5 months into the year. Is what's the next topic besides AI? Do we have something else that's going to be part of the rest of the year? Or are we going to talk about AI or how can we spin AI to be more of a tool in the toolbox versus the coup de grace? Like what's and then and answer that question and tell us what you could do this I guess over the holiday besides barbecue. So, Ken, what do you think? What are we going to talk about when your domain a little bit more than AI? Can you spin it where how do we use AI to influence your business to be an efficient tool versus it's the only thing that because customers are scared and they all they want to do is talk about they're sent to this event to learn more about AI and how they could use it. What advice can we give them to make them understand what we're talking about? Because the vendors are talking in their language versus the customers. And Sam said
so
at the beginning
my,
of this
my
too.
core advice to customers or anybody watching our show today is that number one, stop talking about AI as technology. We need to fundamentally redefine our relationship with AI. And and I'll just speak from a personal perspective. The way that I hold it is that as a person, I have certain capabilities, certain skills, certain knowledge. And if it was all about knowledge, then I'm toast. Because my AI partner can actually have a lot more knowledge accessible and synthesize that in a way that I am unable to do as a person. So this is not about taking me out of the equation, but it's about being able now to have a relationship with whatever that AI partner is that allows me to gain the benefit of that capability, fuse that with my capability, not, actually putting it in my brain housing unit, but how the power of the two brought together where it's now I am more capable because I have an AI partner that has all of these capabilities. That's where we need to start focusing. And especially as we start thinking about what the cost of compute and the cost of token is going to look like moving into the end of 2026 and 2027. I'm expecting that cost is going to get a lot larger. So we're going to need to be thinking about how do we actually set up that relationship so that it provides the benefit while still being able to help us manage our cost.
Good. Yeah. Thomas, what do you think?
Coming from a similar angle, so what I'd say, we will be talking about AI or revenue models with AI. What I tell my clients is similar to what Ken just said. Figure out what your actual business problems are. Then figure out where technology can help you and where you genuinely need people into it, where you can automate it away, basically. Then decide whether this needs new style or old style automation, and then go for it.
Well said. I believe that AI is a form of automation, kind of like what you're saying. And it's an enhanced version of automating, whether it's business or personal. And this is a tool in the toolbox. We're learning how to use it better to be, whether it's your schedule or whether it's your AI assistants to take notes or to give you a new Google to give you more research or to do manual tasks. I'm a big believer in Industry 5.0, the collaboration of humans and robots, where the humans are strategic with that automation. So AI is a part of that, and I believe it's an amazing tool, but it has to be used right, or else you'll go backwards. And if you go backwards, then you use it wrong. But I think we're still learning, and this whole costing around AI that you mentioned, and you both talk about tokens and this, that, and the other, is completely effed up right now. And I think we're a long way from getting that where it's solid. And once that is solid, I think companies will be deciding whether they use it as fully as they are going to expect it, because of that cost element will be much higher than is planned. But
there's one thing that you should probably add, Robert. Yes, it's automation, but the automation or the thing that you automate might look totally different than how you are achieving the same outcome.
Yep, I agree. Yep. Sam, round it out.
Yeah, so I think Ken has taught us how to sell Copilot. Because what he was trying to describe is really the Copilot capability. So good job, Ken. I'm just joking. Okay, but you guys are right that I think Robert had a really good point about AI being automation. Thomas had really good point about thinking about business first and then AI as the enabler. I have very, very similar, commentary related to AI. My personal take on this would be AI is a much broader topic, and there's a lot to learn. It's very early stage at this point of time. Everything is going to change because of AI, but how effective that is going to be, that is something that we are going to find out. At this point of time, obviously, it's a lot of hype, but it will take some time for us to learn where we all can make some real money, which is what we all want in 2026, which is the much bigger problem than anything else.
Whereas the conversation already changes. So it's changing from tech for tech's sake to outcomes. What are the results that I can get? And that is a good sign. It's a very good sign.
Exactly. Could not agree more. So guys, that's a wrap. If you joined for the first time, Analysts Gone Wild, we meet every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.